What is cracking, guys? In this one I'm going to turn my stock levers into Shorty levers on my 2019 Softail Street Bob. But before I do that, I'm going to install this anti-theft bolt on my Whiplash slipstream seat. So as you can see, the stock seat bolt is just a slot head bolt, and that's quite easy to remove. Obviously with a slot head screwdriver, you can either use a 10-cent coin, you can get some pliers around the outside of it, you can get a knife in there, and you can even get some scissors in there. So this one's quite easy to remove. So what I'll be using instead of this stock bolt is this Allen head bolt, which goes inside a collar. And what that collar does is prevent anyone from being able to get some pliers around the outside of it to loosen it off. Also, yes, I know it's not 100% theft proof, but it's more unlikely that someone's going to be walking around with the correct size Allen head wrench in their pocket than a coin or even a knife. So let's install this one and go and make these Shorty levers. Alrighty, so to measure how short I want my Shorty levers, I'm just going to place 3 fingers on each side of the levers, and I'm going to space them out a little bit, and I'm just going to measure probably 1 centimeter from the end of my finger on either side. Alrighty, so now I'm going to get off the bike and just measure each side with a ruler to make sure it's the same length on both sides, and then I'll cut them. So with this one I've measured it about 1 centimeter too long, so it should be just about there. Alrighty, so I've measured about 50 times and I'm pretty sure it's even on both sides. So now what I'm going to do is just remove the blinkers so I can get access to the circlip to remove those levers. Alrighty, so to remove the clutch cable from the clutch lever, all you need to do is remove this plastic tab and it will fall out. To see if they are close to the same length, I'm just going to put them back to back. And that's pretty darn close. So now I'm just going to get a 20-cent piece and I'm going to round the edge. Alrighty, so now let's cut them. So because my vise doesn't have rubber jaws and they're metal, I've just wrapped the lever in some fabric so when I tighten it down it doesn't scratch it. Alrighty, so I've got the levers about the length that I want them now. So now what I'm going to do is just run a file over the ends and get the edges nice and rounded, and also smoothen the top of them. Alrighty, so I'm pretty happy with that. That's nice and smooth and the edge is fairly round to where I'm happy. So now I'm just going to get some sandpaper and run it over it and get it even smoother.
One eternity later.
Alrighty, so I don't know how well you can see it on the camera, but it's pretty scuffed up and it looks pretty rough. I'm going to use some 1200 grit sandpaper just to try and buff it out and get it nice and smooth. Alrighty, so they're done. They're nice and smooth on the edges, and that 1200 grit sandpaper's done a perfect job. There's no dimples, raised parts or anything rough there, so they're nice and smooth. So when I line them up side by side, they're pretty well perfect. I will say, however, the brake lever is a little bit thinner than the clutch lever, and that's just because of the way they're built. So as you can see side by side, the clutch lever is a little bit wider than the brake lever anyway. So I'm pretty happy with the way they've turned out. So what I'm going to do is just remove the collar and that little clip on the clutch lever, and then I'll take them to get powder coated. Alrighty, done. So let's go and get them powder coated. Alrighty, so these are the levers. They come up pretty nice. The only thing I had to do was scrape away the powder coating around, so it doesn't look 100% great there, but this is all covered by the housing, so you won't see it, so it's not a big deal. So what I'm going to do is just reassemble it. Alright guys, so that's going to be it for the DIY Shorty levers. All up, they only cost me about $50, and that was to pay for the powder coating. By no means am I saying that these DIY Shorty levers compare to any of the aftermarket brand ones, being the Whiplash Shorty levers or the Speed King Cycle levers, but they do look the part and they are a hell of a lot cheaper. So if I was to go with those aftermarket Shorty levers, they would have cost me in excess of $250 Australian, just because of the postage and the US conversion rate. So I've got to say, I'm extremely happy with these, and they are a good option if you are on a budget. Yes, you could argue that they're not really Shorty levers because I can fit 3 fingers on both sides, but obviously if you're doing them yourselves, you can always make them shorter, so they are a good option. Anyway, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks very much for watching, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.